All right, we have a Rhodes, and this is one of the later versions. This one has got the Vibrato LED and the switch in the center here, and as you can see, it's blinking away, but occasionally you get situations where the Vibrato's not running properly. The first thing you want to check is if it's been mechanically abused, in other words, whether the potentiometer for the speed or intensity has been destroyed. And then you want to check and see if the switch has broken leads or something going through the board. In this particular instance, neither one was the case. And I remember that earlier in the month when we looked at this thing, we had changed the driver transistor as well, because it was the only thing that was wrong, along with recapping the unit. But it turns out that this particular IC in the corner, it's marked A2, but it's the Vibrato op amp. It's actually dual op amp. One is an oscillator, the other one's a wave shaper for a triangle wave. And this is the later version with the sliders on it and the LEDs. It's a slightly different circuit from the original. You'll find that the 1458 can also die, and it's usually these particular ones, they can die of old age, but very often what happens is the power cable itself has been removed with the power on, the power supply on. You can get away with this, by the way. It's not unusual, as long as you do this rather quickly and one fell swoop. And if you pull it out slowly, what happens is it starts to arc in there, and that can damage the IC. But as long as you insert or remove quickly, there's not going to be a problem. But as a precaution, I recommend that you turn the power off before you remove any cables.
And you installed
and what we've done is we installed an IC socket in there. This is because the runs on the board are somewhat fragile, and we don't want to damage it the next time anything happens to this poor thing. As it is, most of the other components will almost never be removed, but in the case of an IC, there's always the possibility of a change in the future. And like I said, if you suddenly have a situation where you can't control the speed, one of these two capacitors is generally a good idea to look at, because maybe there's something wrong with it. The speed potentiometer itself, if the light comes on and stays on and won't go off, check all of the above plus the wiring of the switch. In this particular instance, this particular one, in order to work right, required a jumper wire on the switch, and that's not unusual. And what that does is it grounds the base of the driver transistor for the LED. What you'll find is if the transistor is not grounded and it's left floating, it's susceptible to picking up all sorts of interference. And also, too, if the transistor becomes leaky, at that point in time, the light will come on and stay on, even though the Vibrato's turned off. This is something that Fender Rhodes should have done, apparently did not. It would be good engineering practice to make sure that the base is terminated through its resistor, either to ground or to the oscillator. And in the earlier versions of the Rhodes, this was so. In this particular version of the Rhodes, it is not. So therefore, you can double check that. In any case, you should have full range of control. And as always, when you're checking it, make sure the intensity pot also runs.